Okay. Those of you that may be watching this on YouTube, we are in the early stages of Purgatorio, Canto 9. This is where Dante and Virgil are getting ready to leave ante-purgatorio, shall we say the hallway to purgatory, and enter purgatory proper. So this has a lot about the sun and going through the gate and all this kind of stuff. And with that being said, Dee Dee is going to give us a John uh, Chiardi summary or synopsis of the canto.
Okay. Dawn is approaching. Dante has a dream of a golden eagle that descends from the height of heaven and carries him up to the sphere of fire. He wakes to find he has been transported in his sleep, that it was Lucia who bore him, laying him down beside an enormous wall through an opening in which he and Virgil may approach the gate of purgatory. Having explained these matters, Virgil leads Dante to the gate and its angel guardian. The angel is seated on the topmost of three steps that symbolize the three parts of a perfect act of confession. Dante prostrates himself at the feet of the angel, who cuts 7 P's in Dante's forehead with the point of a blazing sword. He then allows the poets to enter. As the gates open with a sound of thunder, the mountain resounds with a great hymn of praise.
Okay, so there we go. And just a little anticipation here. The 7 P stands for, I believe, peccato. So these are the seven sins. And believe that the structure of the poem at this point is going to be as Dante proceeds up the mountain of purgatory, that after he has had certain experiences, a P will be erased. And by the time he gets up to the Garden of Eden, he will have no more P's carved in his forehead.
I have a question already. Um, are the steps, the structure of confession, the same as the hierarchy of sins?
So this is addressed to the Catholics in the group.
Yeah,
Hmm.
who might not even
Well,
know.
do you mean like, you know, like venial and mortal sins? Or, well, there are seven, I think I've always heard there's seven cardinal sins, and then there's seven cardinal virtues. They're kind of like,
Mhm.
separated in that way. And so I don't know. There's probably some correlation between, you know, there's probably something in the hierarchy between mortal and venial sins, but
I, I think
venial sins are, well, I'm a little foggy on that now. It's been many years since I've gone, but you had to confess them all, so in my experience. And so,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, I never, yeah, I guess what was a venial, well, what was it? I mean, it was sort of hard to tell in some ways. I mean, what was, today, for example, I mean, it used to be, eating meat on Friday was a mortal sin, as I recall.
a
Uh,
mortal sin.
I think it was.
Wow.
Um, Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
And
In the Bible, when in the
you,
Old Testament, if you disobey that way, you get smited.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, you'd still confess. You'd go to confession and you'd say to the priest that
Right, that's the
I
New
may be on trial or
Testament.
something, and you'd be
Yeah,
forgiven for that.
yeah,
So,
that's the
you know,
New
and to me, I
Testament.
mean, but somehow the Catholic Church found a way to say, yeah, forget that one about eating meat on Friday. That kind of stuff, or missing mass on Sunday, mortal sin. Uh,
Or holy days of obligation, John. Let us
holy
not
days,
forget
yeah,
that.
and holy days of all. I mean, it was quite. And I'm trying to think what like. Uh, I remember probably quarreling with my brother or something like that might be a venial sin, I suppose. That would be something
Well, I
that was
think I
not so
can
severe.
guarantee
I mean,
that.
kids stuff. I mean, I was a kid, so for the most part, I stayed a Catholic until I was in my 20 or so. But and I don't remember that I never got to the
So
serious
those are the seven capital sins.
seven
Yeah, I
capital
think so
sins.
too. Right. And
I don't
and
know.
in the Purgatorio, by the time we're up on the top of the mountain, we
Yeah,
will know these seven in some
yeah,
detail.
yeah. I think I don't think he's this is. Uh, this was written. Dante is talking about these very serious sins, and so forth. That I guess vices, I suppose. And my guess is that was written. It was written centuries before the Baltimore Catechism, when the church kind of adopted this, other kind of hierarchy. I guess if that's what you're talking
Mhm,
about. So
mhm. Yeah, I doubt if any of the people in Purgatory will be working off their eating meat on Friday
no,
sin.
no,
Uh, wouldn't the serious sin be disobedience to the church rather than the specific act of eating the meat? That is, in eating the meat, you're disobeying
yeah.
the church.
Well,
I
yeah.
think
Well,
disobedience.
that, I,
This,
I can
this
I can only I can only say that in my learning of it was that it was taught like these are venial sins, and they were pretty kind of specific. And I mean, for kids under when you start learning this, it's you're 7 to you're 6 5 6 7 8 years old, and then you start growing into teenage years, and that becomes you don't really get beyond that. I guess you get confirmed, and then you have to learn a little bit more of it. I'm afraid I don't. You have to really study the Baltimore Catechism for confirmation, but I'm afraid, you know, I don't
the
think they,
seven
but that was the same thing. It was a lot of rote memory of, you'd have to memorize, all these different things in the Baltimore Catechism. And that was like just laid out. This is the way it is. So they never got into these things about that. That was for maybe higher thought or something like that, maybe. But that
Okay.
was never, I don't recall that as ever being disobedience. I suppose somebody disobeying your parents, of course, that would be a sin of some kind. But
Mhm.
I don't
Let's
remember
let's
that.
see what Decio
Yeah,
the
sorry,
seven
sorry.
to
capital
distinguish.
sins: pride, avarice or greed, envy, wrath, lust, gluttony, and sloths. And those are the seven circles of the purgatory.
Uh-huh.
Those are the seven circles of purgatory as well.
Those
Yeah,
Right.
are, those
I
are,
mean, to
those are
We
the
me,
are
seven.
entering,
venial,
we are
the
entering the
word venial means
pride
lesser.
circle, pride circle.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
those would be cardinal sins too. That the capital or cardinal sins, are they the same? Do you understand? Are they the same to you, Decio?
It sounds like Dante influenced the Baltimore version. Am I right?
Why would you say that?
I thought that John said that.
Oh no, I didn't mean to imply that. I think the Baltimore
Oh,
Catechism
okay.
was written some centuries later, I think. And
Well,
that's
I
the
know,
more
but it sounded like they were influenced by Dante,
well,
by the
I
Commedia.
yeah, well, I can't imply that because I didn't say that.
Okay,
I I don't
I
know. I
leaped.
just don't know.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, maybe it sounded like that, but
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about if we get into it?
Sure.
yeah,
Just wanted to point to the chat because people were wondering about the cardinal sins and the deadly sins, and I just did a quick search. They seem to be the same thing. Cardinal sins, also known as seven deadly sins.
And
And
capital,
probably
capital.
a capital sin is
Yeah,
another term
probably.
for that.
And I was told, just as a little interesting footnote, that pride is the worst of the seven deadly sins because that actually was the sin of Satan.
Yeah. Mhm.
And is the word hubris mean the same thing?
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't
Pretty
know
much.
the answer. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, well, it's actually pride in the Inferno that keeps all those citizens of the Inferno from repenting.
Right.
Yeah.
It is the big one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, well, perhaps, Dee Dee, at this particular point, you could begin reading on line 34, and we could,
Okay, you don't want to just go over it and then the next person, John, read from 34 and discussion begin.
okay, what do you mean by go over it? You mean 1 through
Just
34?
reread up to 34. It'll just take me
Okay.
2 minutes.
All right, you got a
All right.
plan. Read
Okay.
1 through 34. Thank you.
Right. Now, pale upon the balcony of the east, ancient Tithonius' concubine appeared, but lately from her lover's arms released. Across her brow, their radiance like a veil, a scroll of gems was set, worked in the shape of the cold beast whose sting is in its tail. And now already, where we were, the night had taken 2 steps upward, while the third thrust down its wings in the first stroke of flight. When I, by Adam's weight of flesh defeated, was overcome by sleep and sank to rest across the grass on which the 5 were seated. At that new hour, when the first light grows and the little swallow starts her mournful cry, perhaps in memory of her former woes, and when the mind escaped from its submission to flesh and to the chains of waking thought, becomes almost prophetic in its vision. In a dream, I saw a soaring eagle hold the shining light of heaven, poised to strike, yet motionless on widespread wings of gold. He seemed to hover where old history records that Ganymede rose from his friends, borne off to the supreme consistory. I thought to myself, perhaps his habit is to strike at this one spot. Perhaps he scorns to take his prey from any place but this. Then, from his easy wheel in heaven's spire, terrible as lightning bolt, he struck and snatched me up high as the sphere of fire. It seemed that we were swept in a great blaze, and the imaginary fire so scorched me, my sleep broke, and I wakened in a daze.
Okay, great, great. And just as a quick thing, I mean, this is kind of a description of the sun rising. And in the last part, the sun is striking the sleeper full in the face, which causes him to wake up. That's how I interpret it anyway. Okay, and the next reader is, and the next reader will just read 3 or 4 of the Tersima, and
Okay,
then we'll stop and talk some more.
all right. What time from Chiron stealthily his mother carried him sleeping in her arms to Skyros, wherefrom the Greeks withdrew him afterwards. Then I upstarted, when from off my face sleep fled away, and pallid I became, as doth the man who freezes with affright. Only my comforter was at my side, and now the sun was more than 2 hours high, and turned towards the seashore was my face. Be not intimidated, said my lord. Be reassured, for all is well with us. do not restrain, but pour forth all thy strength. Okay, so I'll stop there then.
Okay.
So that's what you say, he wakes up with the sun in his face and his guide and leader at his side.
Mm-hmm.
Who
Does anybody
reassures him.
else wonder about this? I mean, it seems to me I'm a little surprised that they're waking up 2 hours after the sun
Yeah, yeah.
has risen. It would seem, given the urgency of the task, which is to tour all three realms
Mhm.
of the afterlife, and given the fact that this has to be accomplished between Good Friday and Easter Monday, it seems kind of lackadaisical of them to be getting up 2 hours after the sun has risen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what time would the sun have risen in Italy in April on Easter?
I will look and see if Hollander has a note on that.
2 hours is 8 o'clock. 8
Except
o'clock.
he's in the
Because
southern hemisphere, so it would be all different, right?
about April is the equinox, around the equinox. March 21, March is the equinox.
21st,
So the
yeah.
day is
Yeah.
equal to the night. So the sun rises at 6 o'clock, around 6 o'clock. 2 hours later is 8 o'clock.
So it's like lazy. He slept late.
Not so much. No. 8 o'clock is okay. They were tired going up the mountain.
And I guess, Duncan, the question is, does time pass as we feel time passes here? Or is it moving at a slower pace? I don't know.
Well, I guess what strikes me about this is he's painting he's painting this word picture of something which seems remarkably like life on Earth, and including the time, because if the sun is rising and setting, it's sort of like, well, it's how much different is that from if he was simply alive in someplace else on Earth and not in purgatory. So
doesn't the Commedia take just 24 hours, the whole drama?
No, I think
3
it's the
days.
weekend.
3
I think it's
days.
Easter weekend.
3 days.
Wait a minute, I didn't hear any answers.
3 days.
3 days. Okay, so this is one day.
Well, this is one of the mornings of one of the days. Yeah.
I don't think we've answered Dave's question yet.
you know what? Thanks, Dee Dee. I'm not sure it's answerable.
Oh, okay.
I
is this,
don't know.
are we to understand? I guess would this be like the Saturday before Easter in a sense then, or is this Easter Sunday? It's not Easter Sunday yet, is it? They've spent
Yeah, I think Paradise would be Easter Sunday. It's just a pure guess.
yeah.
Okay. So John, are you implicitly suggesting a day for each of the
Yeah,
books?
I guess I'm just wondering that. I'm not suggesting it. I'm just wondering, is this because how long did it take them to get through the Inferno? And that sort of seemed to be like a day, I guess. And now they've gotten into purgatory, and then, well, it's sort of like, the 3 days. There's the 3 days between the death of Christ and the day of his resurrection, each a day. So, I don't know.
Sorry.
It's sort of
Sorry.
divisible in that way.
The journey described in Dante's The Divine Comedy took place over approximately 7.5 days,
Oh,
7.5 days.
beginning on Good Friday and ending on the Wednesday after Easter in the spring of the year 1300.
so
Really?
it began in the
Oh,
Inferno.
okay. That helps clarify that. All right.
7 days.
Sorry
Huh.
about my mistake.
Okay.
What are you quoting from, Destia?
This is Google.
Bless you.
Google.
Google.
I took it from the Google.
Okay.
Ah.
AI.
No, Google, just Google.
All right. Sure.
Okay, are you here, Sylvia?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Just
we're on Purgatorio 9, and we just began the reading
excuse me, I
line
don't know why.
34.
Uh,
Who are you sneezing, Sylvia?
yeah, I
You
don't
got a
know. I
cold.
don't.
You haven't got a cold.
No, I haven't. I'm just sometimes allergic to things.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
No problem. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so Desia, that's interesting. I never thought it was 7 days.
I thought it was 3 days. Okay, yeah, just
I thought it was just Easter weekend.
Yeah.
So, in spite of the imminence of the Oracle Google, I will hold that information in reservation until further confirmed. Because to me, it would seem to me that actually, and this is, I don't know why I'm saying this. I would say that they are probably, if it were only 3 days, we are. This is probably the sunrise on the Saturday of Easter weekend,
Mm.
but I don't know. I have to. I'll have to defer any conclusions until I get further information.
it's from April 7 to April 14, 1300.
That's pretty specific. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do this.
And is the around the equinox is March 21st. Is later on.
Okay, okay.
Because Finnegan's Wake is the 21st and 22nd of March, because he says many times about the equinox.
Hmm. Okay. But anyway, basically in the lines that were read, this is Dante waking up with the sun in his face, and it's 2 hours after dawn. And of course, he's with Virgil, his comforter. And towards the seashore was my face. Okay. Be not intimidated, said my lord Virgil. Be assured, for all is well with us. Do not restrain, but put forth all thy strength. Okay, and that's where the previous reader ended. Is that correct?
Right, yeah.
Do you want me to continue then?
Yeah, why don't you continue with line 49?
You didn't want to make a comment about Achilles,
Hey,
Cleveland John?
You're here. Take
Oh,
advantage.
yeah, I think he probably got this from Statius, the Roman poet Statius, whom we're going to meet a little later. He wrote a, or we only have, he started an epic poem on Achilles, and he tells the story about how Achilles' mother hides him away so he won't have to go to the Trojan War.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I guess he's dressed up as a girl, but Odysseus shows up with let's say dolls and weapons, and Achilles gives himself away by heading for the weapons and not the dolls.
Oh, right.
Right.
So
But John, here it seems that it's more the mother had taken him from Chiron the centaur.
right, Chiron educated him.
Right, but she took him away, and he kind of woke up.
But she
Achilles, so
took
to
him
speak,
away and hid him.
right, in this strange place, right?
In-
It's like, whoa,
yeah, so he woke up there.
right,
It had been, I'm reading Chiardi, it had been prophesied that Achilles would be killed at Troy. So his mother
right.
stole him away from Troy.
No, it's such a good image, because if you've ever traveled and fallen asleep on a bus, you wake up and you go, you're looking around and nothing is familiar. Where am I? I think
Yeah.
this is the feeling that Dante is experiencing right now, because he fell
Uh-huh.
asleep in one place and he's waking up in another.
Oh, very good point. Yeah.
Here's a little, I think, interesting note from Hollander, uh, talking about the use of Achilles. Dante's comedy reality counters the station tragedy. Achilles is carried down from his mountain homeward to an island from which he will go off to his death. Dante is carried up a mountain situated on an island towards his eventual homeland and eternal life.
Okay, wow.
Rarely in the Commedia is the contrast between classical and Christian views, between tragedy and comedy, more present than in these classicizing passages that open this canto.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Okay, I'll I've delayed reading it long enough, and I'll pick it up here. Okay,
No, it's fine.
I'll
There
just
can be
I'll just
no
pick it up.
delay. Unlike our main characters in the Commedia, we have all the time,
We have ample
or at
time.
least much more time than they do.
Right. I'll just pick it up a tercel before. Fear nothing, said my lord. Sit thou secure at heart. We've come unto a good estate. Faint not, but be the more alert therefore. Thou hast reached purgatory. See the great rampart of rock that compasses it round, and where the cleft shows yonder, there's the gate. In the white daylight hour, just now, when sound thy soul slept in thee down below thy head, lodged on the flowers which there adorn the ground, a lady came. I am Lucy. Thus she said, come, let me take this sleeper. I've a mind to help him on the road he has to tread. Sordell and all those shades of princely kind were left, but these she took and bore thee hither, up with the daylight, and I came behind. She set thee down, then turned her fair eyes thither towards the rock, to show me where the fissure opened. She went then, and thy sleep went with her.
Okay. Okay, great. 'Cause
So,
I was wondering, how does Virgil know? Virgil has never been here before. So how does he know where they are and where they're going? And then the last tersima that you read clears that up.
yeah. So they left the others behind. She carried Dante up, Lucy did, and Virgil walked with them, or somehow got transported up with them to the place where they find themselves awake and inside purgatory. Is that correct? Are they inside? Are they within purgatory now? Or are they? Or they're at the rock? That's right. And
Yeah, I think they're right. They're at the
right
they're
there
at the passageway.
at the
Yeah.
entryway. That's what it is. Okay.
Mhm, mhm. And how like a mother carrying a baby this is.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
So the ladies are still giving old Dante the royal treatment here.
I wonder if this is the same. Is this Lucia, the one also who's the saint, who is so much in presence, I guess, in Scandinavian Christianity of Santa Lucia. We celebrate Santa Lucia Day in December, with wearing a crown of candles with her fellow other saints or other angels or something. Is she also the saint of music, the patron saint of music? Is that the same one, or
Here's a Hollander note. Saint Lucy remains one of the more problematic presences in Dante's poem. Exactly who is she, and why is she so important to him?
Yeah.
Most commentators take her to be the early 14th century martyr from Syracuse, killed while Diocletian was emperor around AD 304. She is usually associated with the well-being of the eyes, and this may have some resonance for Dante, who in Convivio reports a severe bout of eye trouble in the same year that he was composing his ode Amorque nell'mente mi ragione. For whatever reason, and we shall never know, Dante was obviously particularly devoted to the cult of the saint.
Yeah, she was the one in Canto 1 of the Inferno who went to Beatrice, right? Mary went to her, and then she went to Beatrice and sent her on her way. Or Canto, not one, it must be Canto 2.
Yeah. The beginning
Okay.
of the Inferno, yeah.
Okay. And I would, as a reader of James Joyce, I would say that this is probably connected to why Joyce named his daughter Lucia.
Oh, I'm sure.
Mm.
With his eye problems.
And Joyce, of course, had eye problems. So Joyce is influenced doubly, one by the fact that he and Dante both had eye trouble, and that he is in search of paradise as well.
And there's a little thing goes on in Dublin in December, and I can't, is it the 13th? I can't remember, where I think Deirdre Maloney, does anybody know Deirdre Maloney?
No.
She's done a lot of work on Lucia Joyce.
Oh,
And
Deidre.
yeah,
Okay.
and I must check it out this year. I missed it. She put something on Facebook, but it was past. So yeah, there, she's been researching and doing a lot to try and re-establish Lucia Joyce.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, just a little aside when you mentioned her.
Yeah. No. Deidre's good. Deidre's also a dancer,
Yeah.
where much of her interest in Lucia comes from. All righty.
Mm.
So, but I'm struck by this image of Lucia coming and picking Dante up just like a little child and transporting him to the entrance to purgatory proper. Who is our next reader?
Decio.
Oh,
Yes, you. All right.
Huh?
No,
Yeah.
John.
Oh.
John.
I think I am.
John. Okay, sorry, John. Go ahead.
In guise of one whose doubts are reassured, and who to confidence his fear doth change, after the truth has been discovered to him. So did I change, and when without disquiet my leader saw me, up along the cliff he moved, and I behind him toward the height. Reader, thou seest well how I exalt my theme, and therefore, if with greater art I fortify it, marvel not thereat.
Maybe I missed something, John, but I think you need to go back to line 58
Oh,
and start at 58 with Sordello and the other noble shapes.
is that okay?
I did actually read that.
You did read that?
I
Oh,
did. I must confess.
I guess I was so fascinated by the image of Lucia carrying Dante that I didn't even hear you read it. Forgive me.
I guess I made quite an impression.
Sordello and the other noble shapes remained. She took thee, and as day grew bright, upward she came, and I upon her footsteps. She laid thee here, and first her beauteous eyes, that open entrance pointed out to me. Then she and sleep together went away. In guise of one whose doubts are reassured, and who to confidence his fear doth change, after the truth has been discovered to him, so did I change, and when without disquiet my leader saw me up along the cliff, he moved and I behind him toward the height. Reader, thou seest well how I exalt my theme, and therefore, if with greater art I fortify it, marvel not thereat.
So, okay, so what, I fortify my theme. Is he foreshadowing something here, or is this something he's, well, I'm not following all that what he's saying, but I guess, so he's been transported by Santa Lucia, his patron saint, who, by the way, I did my own little side research on Santa Lucia. She is the same patron saint of a lot of Scandinavian countries, her traditions, and she was a martyr whose sight was restored after her martyrdom, I guess. In her she's the patron saint of the blind and those with eye troubles, and her name is derived from the Latin word for light and faith. She's often depicted holding a plate with her eyes on it, representing her miraculous restoration of sight after her martyrdom. So she was, yeah.
And I think it makes marvelously good sense that the Viking countries would particularly like Saint Lucia,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
since
Say
much of
light,
the
yes.
year, because of the light, yeah.
Exactly.
She's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
a stand-in for the sun god.
Most definitely that. Um,
But the line 70, 71, 72 in mine. Reader, you know to what exalted height I raised my theme. Small wonder if I now summon still greater art to what I write.
yeah.
I don't know,
What is
that
that?
makes a lot of sense to me,
Why is that, Dee Dee? Because I explained it to me,
because
I'm not getting that.
enthusiasm comes in, a confidence that you're doing the right thing, you know?
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm interpreting that as he knows that we're all going, what? Look at this image. We have a saint lifting up Dante like he was a little child and
Yes.
moving him towards the gates of purgatory. That seems a little extreme. And so he's countering that attitude by a barbarian such as myself.
Okay.
So it's like, Duncan, thou seest
Okay.
well how I exalt my theme.
Yeah.
And therefore, if with greater art I fortify it, don't be surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his vision of what he's doing,
Yeah. I get that.
confidence.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, I get that now. Okay. Thank you.
It's interesting how the line has been translated in our various editions. Look, reader, how my theme would scale the sky.
Dale, is that the word you had read? Was what? My theme was what?
Okay, I'll try it one. I'll do it again then, Dee Dee. It's worth reading again. It's lovely, right? Look, reader, how my theme would scale the sky.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm fascinated because mine says, Reader, thou seest well how I exalt my theme.
Yeah, which is a lot closer to the Italian
Oh, is it?
than
Sky.
when
A
Dave
sky,
read.
isn't it? Sorry, John. Yeah. I'm interested. Yeah. Is sky in yours? In the Italian? No?
No, it's Lator reader, tu vedi, you see Ben, you see well, home io innalzo, how I innalzo, I guess is translated exalt, la mia materia, my material. There's
In,
no
Port-
skies.
in Portuguese, ó leitor,
Dave's translator got a little carried away.
Yeah.
Mm.
Say,
em português, ó leitor, bem tu vês como eu exalto o tema meu. E agora, com mais arte, não te admires se eu levo ainda mais alto.
So
It's-
translate, DCO.
no, it's what you read in English. It's the same.
yeah,
Same
say-
thing.
It's in Portuguese there. Well,
Yeah, it's just interesting.
mhm.
Mm.
Okay, so
But I
So-
think, at least to me, he's basically saying, look, I know that you as my reader are thinking that I'm really being exaggerating way too much,
Mm.
but there's a reason for it. So don't be surprised.
mhm.
He is increasing the pleasure of the reading.
Hmm.
He said that we will have more pleasure to read it, I think, from now on.
Okay.
Can I start reading?
I think we're ready for you, Decio.
Yep.
Nearer approached we, and were in such place that there, where first appeared to me a rift, like to a crevice that disparts a wall. I saw a portal, and 3 stairs beneath, diverse in color, to go up to it, and a gatekeeper, who yet spake no word. And as opened more and more mine eyes, I saw him seated on the highest stair, such in the face that I endured it not. And in his hand he had a naked sword, which so reflected back the sunbeams towards us, that oft in vain I lifted up mine eyes. Tell it from where you are. What is your wish? Began he to explain. Where is this court? Take heed, your coming higher harm you not. A lady of heaven with these things conversant, my master answered him, but even now said to us, tighter go, there is the portal. And may she speed your footsteps in all good. Again began the courteous janitor. Come forward then onto these stairs of ours.
Okay, great. So Decio, I want to point out that going back to line 90, that would be thither go,
The
at least
lady,
in American English, thither.
sorry?
Thither,
Sorry,
Thither, in American English is thither.
sorry about my poor English. Sorry.
Go
No,
there.
no,
In
that's not
Shardy, it's
important.
go there.
Nobody talks that way in America anymore, though. does it?
I don't think I've ever heard that word in conversation.
No, no.
I didn't think
Well,
so.
I use
Maybe
it all the time.
Longfellow's time.
Right.
I
There's a
wonder if it's in the
challenge, Duncan. There's a
dictionary.
challenge, buddy. we'll try and work it in.
Yeah, okay.
We shall go thither.
Yes.
in my
Hither and
Greek
thither.
class, John, when
What's that?
in
Is
the Greek
hither?
class with Professor Whalen, whom you never had,
Yeah.
one day in translating, I used some word and he said, and you're using that in the way that nobody uses it anymore.
Okay.
Like, it's correct, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, notice Longfellow uses the term whilom before. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Phylum.
Whilom at dawn. Is that how I didn't even know it's pronounced. Whilom at dawn, which doth precede the day. I've never heard anybody say that or write
You
that.
know,
Or, I know
when they
there's a word.
eliminated my department,
Yeah.
I described myself as the Wylam chair of foreign languages. Make it sound like an endowment or something. Anyway,
Okay. So let us go thither then.
Thither we go.
Sorry about my shortcomings. Yeah, so, yeah.
Right. So I find it interesting that there's another guardian.
Yeah.
you
With
know?
a sword.
Yeah.
I mean, how did they expect? I mean, yeah, it kind of boggles my mind that there would be a guardian at that spot
And with a pointy sword too.
with a pointy sword. Yeah, and that the sword, what do you say? That the sword is reflecting light to blind them.
Yeah.
I think there's only one guardian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but we ran into one several cantos earlier, Dee.
Oh, okay.
It seems to be a fairly high secure facility. High security.
that's right. It was Cato, right? Wasn't it Cato
Security.
down
There
at
it is.
Oh, no,
the
Right on.
seashore?
There was the angel who was supposedly guarding against the serpent. He didn't. That angel did not have a
Oh,
point.
right.
He had
Oh,
that
right.
kind of a blunt or cut off sword or something, a half sword without
Right.
a point to it.
I forgot.
Yeah. No, Desio's been putting up something.
Sorry. Just to see the sword, to show the sword.
Oh, you got a picture of it.
My translation is a bit more racy regarding the sword. It is a naked sword.
Oh, well, that's what this one is. That's what Longfellow says. Naked sword.
Here you are.
The
This
spada
is
nuda.
drawn sword,
Yeah.
more benign.
A spada nuda.
Fada nuda. Yeah.
A naked sword which so reflected back the sunbeams towards us that often vain I lifted up mine eyes. In other words, it was blinding him.
Yes. It's a dazzling sword.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so it seems Virgil is explaining that, well, they were delivered up to this portal by Saint Lucy, and was introduced to this thing. She said to go here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess that opened the way. May she speed your footsteps, and so again began the courteous janitor. They come now. He's a courteous janitor.
Yeah, he
Or
goes from being a fierce guardian with a
Yeah.
dazzling sword to a courteous janitor.
I know. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well,
May she speed your footsteps in all good.
Here is Dante's dream with the eagle.
oh, okay.
You
Oh,
see Dante in the eagle.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think that dream with the eagle was anticipating this guardian? Is that what you're saying?
Hmm.
Or is it the angel Saint Lucia that he sees as the eagle, the winged angel? I'm wondering.
Well, dreams are ambiguous.
Yeah,
It
we
could
never
be
know.
both or more.
Ambiguous. Yeah, that's the question situation.
But anyway, they answered the question correctly.
Yeah,
Now they're being given admittance.
yeah, yeah. They have, what's the secret word here?
Secret word is Lucia sent us.
Yeah, there you are. Yep.
And Giardi is just a heavenly lady.
Yeah,
That's what I have
that's
also.
all it is.
Lady of Heaven.
Yeah, it's
That's
interesting.
that's different.
It's interesting because earlier in the material that you had read last week, I dreamt I saw an eagle in midair, plumed all in gold, hovering on wings outspread, as though to make his swoop. He poised him there. Meseemed me in the place whence Ganymede up to the high God's hills was snatched one day, leaving all his comrades discomfited. Now the eagle is Jupiter's bird, if I'm not mistaken. Just doing a quick check on that, John Cleveland. The eagle is
Yeah.
Jupiter's bird, right? And Ganymede gets snatched up. So somehow there seem to be echoes of the eagle taking Ganymede as Saint Lucia, also winged, I presume. Thanks, Decio, for that. Takes Dante, but not for sexual purposes as Ganymede was taken. Because didn't Ganymede become Jupiter's cupbearer?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And then he becomes a constellation. I
Right.
read that. I can't remember which constellation. Maybe it's in Sayers.
But that's another contrast between the classical and the
22.
Christian.
I agree, Duncan.
That in the classical thought, if you get snatched up by eagles or mythical creatures of any sort, it's probably for nefarious reasons.
Correct.
Whereas if you get snatched up by a Christian saint, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, here they are
Okay, so
at the
should
very
we not?
gate itself. So I guess we're ready. Who's the next?
Yep.
Oh,
You
It
are.
also says Ganymede was the son of the founder of Troy.
yeah.
Well, I was really horrified by that story last week.
The Ganymede story?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was a bit, let's say, not nice. I
No.
think,
the Greek gods were not necessarily nice.
Oh
no,
my
they were,
God.
well,
Yeah.
particularly to the woman, and so I think you almost got permission to rape women if you read those.
I believe the Greek gods had permission to put it in modern terms, sexually abuse either gender. Although, apparently Zeus was very partial to women. As far as I know, Zeus did not rape any young boys or seduce them under false pretenses.
Yeah, Ganymede is the only one I can think of.
Mm.
But it's Hercules had for a while in some there's a lot of stuff about Hercules. Hercules had a adolescent named Hylas and supposedly when he was going with the Argonauts to get the Golden Fleece, Jason and the Golden Fleece. They stopped at an island and some nymphs kidnapped Hylas. So Hercules left the expedition to continue hunting for him. That's in Apollonius of Rhodes' account of the Argonauts. But so there are instances of this.
Of equal opportunity abuse.
Yeah, I guess.
Are we ready to proceed? Let me do this. Am I the? Oh, I'm the.
Oh, Des.
Oh, and Des is here.
Yes.
Do you know where we are?
Well, I might have known where you were an hour ago, but
Okay, well, we're on Canto 9 and we're around line 91 at this time.
91.
Mm-hmm.
Outcast from heaven, driven beyond contempt. Was that it?
Yeah, come for thither did we approach, I mirror myself. I guess we're on 97 or 94.
94.
Yeah.
Why so recalcitrant against that will, whose aim and purpose never can be maimed? Is that anything close to it?
If it's 94 Des in Canto 9, my translation reads, "And when we reached the first step of the stair, it was white marble polished to such gloss that even as I am, I saw me there." So it's a description of a step.
I tell you, if you guys head on reading, I'll find out eventually.
Okay, so do I start at 94? Somebody tell me.
Yes.
Okay, thither, although I remember thither and Decia. Okay, thither did we approach, and the first stair was marble white, so polished and so smooth, I mirrored myself therein as I appeared. The second, tinct of deeper hue than purse, was of a calcined and uneven stone, cracked all asunder lengthwise and across. The third, that uppermost rest massively, porphyry seemed to me, as flaming red as blood that from a vein is spurting forth. I think I will stop there. I think we got plenty to do. And, and Hollander starts off explaining this. The allegory of the three steps should be less difficult than it has proven to be. Considering this problem, Carroll, commenting to these verses, cites Milton, describing the gate of heaven, Paradise Lost 3, line 516. Each stair mysteriously was met. But what exactly does each of Dante's steps mean? Catholic doctrine, as variously expressed, presents the path to absolution from sin as running in the scripture of penance from contrition to recognition and heartfelt rejection of a sin to confession of the sin voiced to a priest to satisfaction in the promise to perform an act of penance as ordered by that priest, thus showing the genuineness of the confession.
Is that the whole thing?
No.
Oh, because Chiardi calls it the mirror of the soul. In other words, he's not seeing the outward face, he's looking at his own soul.
You're talking about Dante looking at the first step?
Yeah, that's what he sees when he says, I saw my true reflection past all seeming. It's the Giardi line.
But he's describing these three steps though.
Well, this was just the first step.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
where he saw the reflection.
But the angel is sitting on top of the three stairs.
Yeah.
In Piazza Navona at Rome, maybe somebody can went
So
there.
polished and so smooth that in its mirror I saw my true reflection.
In Rome, in Piazza Navona, there is a restaurant called I Tre Scalini. The three stairs.
The three steps. Okay.
Tre Scalini.
Interesting how literature influences restaurant namers. We had Nighttown here, it closed, but
Tre Scalini.
yeah.
It's difficult to read, but it's Tre
So
Scalini.
yeah, a lot of Dante readers will flock to Descarini then, right?
Tre
Descarini.
Scalini. Yeah.
Descarini. Okay, it was just
Scala
CR3.
is there. Scalini.
Yeah. All right, so
I think roughly speaking, we'll say that the three steps represent the what is going to happen at each level of purgatory.
okay.
And the first step is contrition of the heart.
Yeah,
Light for purity, shining for hope, and flawless for perfection.
I think it's important to remember that Dante, see, does Dante already have he doesn't have the P's carved in his head yet, does he?
Yeah, he does.
No, it's
They're
a little bit
carved
later.
in.
That's a little bit later. That's
Oh,
after,
wait.
we're not
Have
there.
we
That's
not just-
that's
oh,
up at
I'm sorry.
line 112.
A few tercets later.
I see it. Yeah, I see it.
Right, Canto
Yeah.
9.
But I think that the three steps and their color has something to do with the process of erasing each of the P's. First you have contrition, and then you have confession, and then you have satisfaction, which I guess is the working off of the sin.
Yeah, contrition is the opposite of pride.
Right. Contrition, the recognition and heartfelt rejection of a sin. All right. Anybody have anything else to say? I mean, I know that there's a lot more in these three steps than that, and I'm sure the color is important and the texture is important. But I don't have any information on why or how.
Well, it says white for purity, shining for hope, and
I don't think the
flawless.
white is purity. I think the white is actually to see the reflection.
Well, this is Giardi.
Okay.
Your
Okay, so what does Chiardi say? The white is
White for purity, shining for hope, and flawless for perfection. Let's see if Sayers has anything. She doesn't really.
and does Chiardi have anything to say about the second step, deeper hue than purse?
Probably, yeah. It's contrition of the mouth, i.e., confession, the color of a bruise for shame that envelops the soul as it confesses, rough grained and fireflight for the pain the confessor must endure, and cracked for the imperfection or sin the soul confesses.
So the true accusation of sin and the contrition and penitence. The two.
Right. It's painful to remember your sins. I even remember some of mine.
We are poor sinners, and we have original sin. I don't understand the original sin. we were born with a sin. We are resulted of a sin. Yeah, we resulted of a sin.
I think they got rid of that. Did they get rid of that with
Yeah.
Vatican?
I think that was recent.
Yeah, I mean that's ridiculous.
No, you
Women-
have to be baptized. If you are not baptized, you still have the original sin.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's only through
Or-
you're washed clean by the blood of Christ is
Correct.
original sin. And that was the expiation for original sin.
That's
So we are
great.
liberated by the death, by the
This is our mythology.
What's that?
This is the Catholic mythology.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it's Protestant too, I think. That's yeah.
Some,
by
yeah,
faith.
Baptists.
And you know, and women after they give birth to a child, I don't think they could go to the they couldn't go to communion. I don't know what, but you used to see them when I was little lining up to get blessed or cleansed by the priest.
We say chrisma. I don't know how do you say it in English. You have baptized and then you have a chrisma. The priest
The
gives you
christening, I thought, was just the naming of a child.
No, that's confirmation. That's
confirmation. The priest gives you
a tap.
yes.
Oh, no.
Confirmation. Yeah, confirmation.
That's what we call it here. Yeah.
Well, isn't because of original sin that the doctrine of the Immaculate Conception arose?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Mary
what
was conceived without sin.
Mary was conceived without sin. Correct.
Yeah.
Christ was conceived without sin.
Arian
Oh,
is.
no, no,
Because
no.
Mary was.
No, Mary. The Immaculate Conception is all about Mary.
Yeah. Mary, not Mary's conception at birth. No.
Is
Christ's
this
conception.
Arianism? No.
No, it's Mary's conception.
It's Mary's conception. Joachim and Anna, her parents, conceived. It's not biblical, Joachim and Anna, but
No.
Mary was conceived without sin.
Well, I've never heard that before. That's a new one.
I'll post it. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
I've run into this discussion before. I'll post.
No, but that
Not
was
it's
mentioned
not in the
last,
Bible. It's not in the Bible.
but that was mentioned last week. I don't know if it was, maybe it was in Ulysses. It was mentioned, wasn't it?
Last week.
It wasn't Dee Dee, it was some woman. It was a woman in our group,
Ann Doyle is,
or somebody was underlining it
I didn't.
because Dave wasn't there.
I know to argue. Okay, here we go. I'll post this. And you're right, John. It's Catholic. It's not biblical. It's Catholic stuff. Okay, let me copy it. Put it in the.
But isn't that where the Protestants have a problem about the virgin birth?
No, I think it's the I don't know. The Protestants don't have a problem
I
because
don't think Protestants don't have a problem with the virgin birth.
no, they'd have a problem with
I
the
know.
with the virgin or the Immaculate Conception of Mary. Now, I've never heard that before, and I was raised Catholic. I've never understood that. I always thought it was basically the whole story from the Bible of the angel appears to Mary and explains to her that the Holy Spirit's going to overcome her and she's going to give birth to a child. I thought that was the whole idea of the Immaculate Conception. Now there's a feast.
Well,
There you go.
there's actually a couple of different things. One is a more recent thing that I have read which I thought was interesting, is the idea
All
that
right, well, how about that?
Mary was not a virgin. That Mary was not a virgin. She was not immaculate at all. And what made it a miraculous birth was that she was impregnated by the Holy Spirit.
So it's
Yeah.
the same as
Nothing to do with
Leda.
whether she was a virgin.
It's the same as the Greek mythology. Leda and Zeus.
Yeah.
She had
There's that,
sex
yeah.
with Zeus, and he had Pollux, Castor, and Ellen. So it's the same situation, the same mythological approach. Yeah.
I think there's a little difference between a goose and God.
No, but she didn't have sex with a goose or a swan. She had with
Heard it all.
a dove, a dove.
Yeah. Anyway, going back,
A dove.
what Protestants have trouble with is Mariolatry.
Yeah.
To
Mariology
make
in
Mary a Holy Spirit is the problem.
Well, not just that, but I mean, it goes then to this. She's on the same level in rank as God or Jesus.
Yeah, that's the Protestant problem right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the virgin birth, I mean, God, Protestants like the idea of the virgin birth, in which
Yeah.
the predominant thing is that Mary was a young virgin who had never lain with man, as they say,
Right.
but was impregnated by the Holy Spirit and gave birth to Jesus.
Well,
The
That
Holy
part
Spirit, not a dove.
Protestants have no
A dove.
trouble with for some
A
reason.
dove.
Huh?
A dove, not the
Dove.
Holy Spirit. A dove.
Pigeon.
that's
Oh, a
the
dove.
artistic
A dove. Oh,
conception.
okay. Well, there
The
you go.
artistic
Pigeon.
That
idea.
is a parallel.
Like Leda with the swan.
All right. Well, that's an
story.
art
Sorry,
imagination.
there was a story that came around when we were studying that during the 19th century, after the few hundred years of the Renaissance, when people were beginning to use science to question things, that the church found that the ability of the people to understand the Trinity was so difficult that they introduced Mariology as something which they could more easily understand.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
Okay. That's an interesting take on it.
My version of that is not my version, but the version that I've always heard was Mariology came in because as the Catholic Church was trying to spread the good news and to get other people from other cultures to adopt Christianity, that because so many cultures had the mother goddess thing going on, that by bringing in Mary and a female spirit, it made it much easier
Interesting.
to convert people. That they
It's always a
could
question of
identify with that and
mythology.
go with that much easier than just a bunch of guys.
Yeah, when you read the New Testament, there are ways in which you could see they were wooing the pagans, all the different prophets, their wording, their choices of what the pagans were, what was okay and what wasn't,
Yeah.
different from the Old Testament, different from even, I think, the four apostles.
Well, certainly the Jesuits, that was their thing, if you will, that Jesuits would send advance priests into countries, most famous of which we know of was probably China and Japan. And the Jesuits would study the culture and then they would work out how to present Christian doctrine culturally designed to be a little easier for that culture to understand.
That was after the Bible, after the
Long
Old
after the Bible.
Testament.
Oh, yeah, long
Yeah.
after the Bible. But I mean, that was what the Jesuits did. And the Jesuits became so good at it that actually the church freaked out and suppressed the Jesuits for quite some
Uh-oh.
time.
Yeah.
And
They
then
were
and there's a
radical.
whole thing. I wish I could remember it, but I was looking at a thing about a month ago talking about the Jesuits and Dante and how, Dante at a certain point was out. The Jesuits were against Dante, and then later on the Jesuits worked out how to bring Dante back in.
That's interesting.
Maybe it was in that book that I was mentioned a couple of several sessions ago by that Etienne Gilson. He's a was
Gilson?
Gilson. He wrote a whole thing about Dante and philosophy, and there's a lot about, of course, Thomistic or the
Okay,
church
okay.
theology and philosophy
Okay.
in that book, and maybe that's mentioned in there because they have
Okay.
about Dante and philosophy. He's quite he's really up on Dante here. So
He did. And actually, he's one of the interpreters of Dante,
Mhm.
well respected. And I should track that book down. And I would say that I should track it down and read it, but I'm beginning to realize that I have overwhelmed myself with
Easily
possible
done.
readings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's available online and on the online archive, by the way, so you can read it online if you can stand sitting in before a computer or a computer screen reading a book like that. But
Yeah, I understand. And actually, I have a way of obtaining such things and reading them on my computer.
yeah,
So I'll track it down that way.
well, that's very interesting, Dave, uh, about this thing. I guess I have to say I certainly did learn something today about the Immaculate Conception. I
Yeah.
didn't. I wonder if that's something that, um, well, at least maybe it was just something that just flew over my head, or I heard it and it never really sunk in, or it never grabbed that or something like that. But I feel like, wow, that's important. Uh, anyway, so
Was that Google, Dave?
Yeah,
What you shared?
it is. You can find it there. It's a commonly made mistake, John. So there's no shame in it. And as someone raised Catholic, I mean, I initially raised it too, and somebody pointed it out to me, and I went, "Whoa!" But there
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
You know,
I wonder if how well, but I think the explanation, it's what Duncan was saying here, that makes sense too, because a lot of it makes some sense to, well, even in modern times in a way. I mean, that's in a way what makes, I think, Catholicism maybe somewhat attractive is it does have a feminine side of its theology
It
in a way.
does. It does.
And,
Yeah.
and
yes,
so
And
that
there's
is
none of that in
not this kind of
Protestantism.
angry, Jehovah, all there by himself there, or even with Jesus. It's not at all male cast here. Although the Holy Spirit can kind of, I think, can be
I,
accommodated, but still, it's a quite more out there kind of an idea. So,
I just want to second what you said. I mean, I think that without the presence of Mary, uh, Christianity would be a pretty masculine religion. And to
yeah,
swing around to Dante, he injects a lot of the feminine into this.
quite
It's
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Santa
Tremendous
Lucia,
amount.
and this is to his credit, I think. The other thing, John, you may know, I think it was in the 50s, there was a Catholic doctrine proclaimed. I hope I've got it right. The Assumption of Mary.
yeah. That was it. There's another. There are two feast days, I think. Holy
Right.
Days of creation, one is the Assumption of Mary,
Yeah.
and that's the other one. That's like, I think they're one of
Yeah,
it's in August. Maybe they're both in August, I think, because my grandmother, was a very devout Catholic, was always like on this thing about these different holy days of oblation. I could never get those straight. The Immaculate Conception.
Assumpta, yeah, the 15th of August.
Yeah,
But Mary, Our Lady, was assumed into
yes,
heaven.
yeah.
She didn't have to be buried or anything. She was.
It's like
She was taken
Elijah,
directly up.
like Jesus, really. Just like Jesus was assumed into heaven. He bodily was lifted into heaven. So was Mary.
So does assumption in this case mean the ascension of heaven,
No.
of Mary?
There is a difference between assumption and assumption.
They- Yeah, I think
Assumption is
it's
by
we-
his own
it's-
force.
yeah.
The assumption is just conducted.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. I hope that helps. It is August 15th, right? Celebrated 15th of August. And the Assumption of Mary, body and soul into heaven.
Yeah,
So they just scooped her up. She's like raptured into heaven.
yeah.
So she joins
Would
a
it do-
kind of a select company because I think it was Elijah and Elisha.
Yeah.
And there's one more.
Oh, Jesus was too, but that's called
Jesus, yeah. Elijah, Melissa, Elisha, Jesus, Mary, and there's one other.
Seth.
Oh,
Oh no, Enoch.
Enoch. You're right. That's it. It's Enoch.
Yeah.
But when Mary goes up his body to the heaven, when she arrived at 10,000 meters, that's 30,000 feet, her body was frozen.
I would. I think maybe a bit of altitude sickness there, Desio. Yes.
The assumption there, the title of the assumption was she was assumed. It was assumed that she went to heaven.
There you are.
It's not a direct declaration. The church can't do that.
But it's relative.
Oh, that's interesting. So you read Assumption of Mary is that they're making not a non-declaration. It's not as like it's her body and soul being assumed. It's really that's the church doctrine is making an assumption here. And so they don't know what happened to Mary, but we're going to assume this is what happened because we don't know. She was never.
Yeah, similarly with the Immaculate Conception, the title again, it was sort of a deduction. They reasoned that in order for her to give birth to God, she would have to be pure and without sin. And that's really the source of the immaculateness.
Yeah.
Again, it's assumption. It's a deduction, if you like, in their reasoning.
So the
this was invention of Saint Augustine and Thomas Aquinas. They invented all these dogmas. So we have to swallow up this.
Definitely.
Did you use the term swallow up?
Swallow down. Sorry, excuse me.
I get the impression that you're not a totally convinced believer in these things.
Swallow down.
Well, I will have to expose myself as a barbarian and say that I think the doctrine of the virgin birth and the doctrine of the Assumption of Mary are very problematic.
Mythology.
In the sense that they unconsciously convince the mere mortal that we are not destined for a spiritual life. And that it would have been to me, the idea if Jesus had been born in the quote, the normal manner, no swans or doves involved, but was an earthly mother who gave birth to a earthly saint who taught people how to walk a spiritual path would be much more convincing.
But that's just a normal man. Just a normal
birth, an almost normal death. maybe a martyr death. I mean, I have to say I'm very impressed by the idea of a person who believes so strongly in their spiritual life that they go smilingly to their death. That's a very powerful thing, and I think it does happen. Um,
Well,
but
On,
yeah,
on that, on that, could I mention that Socrates, when he drank the hemlock,
yeah,
he was in firm belief of reincarnation,
Mhm.
very firm
He
belief.
invented the soul. No? Uh,
Yeah,
he
sure.
invented,
Yeah.
he
invented the
wasn't just
soul.
going to die and
Uh,
not be anymore. He was going
right.
to come back as something.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
think so? Okay, okay. And
So
you have some documents that point in that direction. I mean, I just thought that he thought dying for the truth was a good thing.
That's what's given out. Yes, that is
was it
what's given out. But the church can't hold that.
can't hold
Yeah.
can't hold what? Oh, you mean reincarnation?
Are we talking
Yes,
about Socrates at this point or Jesus?
you can go with both.
You go with both. Okay, okay, okay.
Well, there's
Well,
a
I
lot
mean,
of things that
my tendency is actually that if you are on the right path, so to speak, that death holds no ultimate horrors, and that we're not reincarnated in some recognized personality form,
Well,
but we are reincarnated in the sense that all of the elements, material and immaterial, go back into the creative void, which brings forth new new souls and spirits. And so it proceeds on and on.
I have to go back to my husband's best friend, really, the one book he wrote called The Modern Construction of Mythology. This man really was a genius. And it's hard to read, but I'm going to go see what he had to say about Mary.
what is it? What's his name?
Andrew von Hendy.
Andrew von
Andrew
Hendy.
von Hendy?
Andrew von Hendy.
How do you spell
I'm
Hendy?
trying to think of which university published it. I can't remember.
Well,
Von Henry?
Von Hendy, Hendy.
well,
The Modern
I have to
Construction of
say,
Mythology. Great
that's the
title.
thing. So getting back on a comment, just on Des's comment. So you understand the Immaculate Conception to be like the Assumption of Mary, and that they both are sort of like logical, or they're not. Well, they're dogmas, I guess, but that there's something. I don't know what you say. There are assumptions, like you said, it was an assumption, sort of a logical deduction or logical construction from other ways of by theologians who came to some conclusions about from their reasoning through the premises of the theology that they were given. Is that about right?
that's yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Well, it's just
so
the word, there's a word, another biblical term that comes to mind called shibboleth, which is a term that it's like, you from the Old Testament that certain of the Hebrews were divided between those who could say the word shibboleth and those who could thibboleth. They
oh
couldn't say
right.
that. And that's how they divided. Oh, they couldn't say that certain word, and it's become a term today, which is it's an unpronounceable, or I guess maybe scrambles our brains in a way. We can't get our minds around. But if you take it as an article of faith, you can put that in your conception of your theology of your spiritual world here. We're all spiritual beings of some kind, I think. But
Mhm.
what depends on what you can go with. I guess uh yeah. Well, anyways, that's just an interesting
Yeah,
insight.
you know, if
So-
you keep
so-
studying over time, I've been doing the Bhagavad Gita now for a long
Oh,
time.
yeah, okay, wow.
It really, the perspective really alters.
Yeah,
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 Oh,
yeah.
yeah, there's lots of different, this is the interesting thing about human beings. To me, the interesting thing about human beings is that we have created so many explanations. It's fascinating.
Mhm.
It's fascinating.
yeah.
Anyway, our time has more than
Oh, yeah, wow, we're out of
ended.
time. We almost got lost track here.
And I'm going to, if someone can make a note, that we would be starting at line 106,
Okay,
which is just after the steps. 106. Let's see. 106 or 103 in like that. Mhm. Okay. Well, gee, I'm not sure how we do it every time, but somehow we manage to do something interesting every time.
yeah, wow.
It is interesting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for
I
sure.
don't know how Dave Little can stand being away from
I
discussion.
don't like to miss it. The one day I had to miss it was terrible.
Yeah.
And Dave, where were you? I missed. I didn't hear where.
No, I was in the Balkans.
And
Oh,
in Trieste. And
Oh
in
yes,
Trieste.
yes.
Oh.
He made a
Went-
side trip. He left his wife somewhere and made a quick trip to Trieste, it sounded like to me.
Oh, I actually left her for 4 weeks. She stayed here. I went. She didn't want to come, so I
Also,
went.
Oh my goodness, this
All right.
was a solo trip.
It
Oh,
was.
goodness.
Have you
Was that a
been-
Joyce sort of tour?
In Trieste, but I found
Yeah.
that I didn't see nearly as much as Decio did, so I have to
have
go
you
back.
went to Pola also? Pola.
Mhm.
Now is Croatia.
Right.
Pola is
Okay,
close.
and where are you going now for 2 weeks?
Ontario.
Ontario.
Yeah. My mother-in-law is not doing very well, so we're going down to see her.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but
So you'll be back here
I
next
will
week.
tell you that my age, I'm just amazed. It's like every day I wake up and I go, well, what am I going to hear today?
Not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least you're waking up and you're facing the day, and
At
that's
least I'm waking. Actually, in 10 days, I will go to the Not Yet Dead party, which has been going on for decades now,
right.
All right,
and we
Okay.
will celebrate being not yet dead.
Right.
all right. That, we can all
Take care.
celebrate that.
Thanks, everybody.